Hey everyone, I am Miss Hu, your physics teacher. In this video, we are going to go through question 5 of this question paper. Question 5 is from Unit 1, specifically from the topic of energy resources. Now, because for question 5, there's a lot of text required in its answer, we're going to do an immediate comparison against a mark scheme so that you know what you need to write in order to score the highest marks you can get within this question. Question 5. Many methods of generating electrical power involve the use of water. A. Describe one method of generating electrical power from energy stored in water. So to answer this question, you need to understand how we're able to generate electrical power from water. So think of one method which is really easy for you to be able to describe. There are a couple of options that you can use for the description. Number one, you can describe hydroelectric power, where you describe how when water falls from a high point to a low point, it's able to generate electricity. Or number two, you can talk about tidal power, where there's a barrier between two sets of water. One side always is at a higher level with higher potential, and the higher potential water will always travel to the lower potential, and that travel will generate electrical power. So in this case, let's take the example of hydroelectric power. Now, this is a 3-mark question. So to make it easy for you to get all the marks in this question, because it's a description question, just describe the process of generating electrical power. So let's look at the mark scheme straight away. You do need to describe how the energy from the water is released. You need to mention the transfer between energy stores. That means between one form of energy to another. How the water is able to turn the turbine as it moves. And the turning of the turbine will cause a generator to generate electricity, and the name of the method to match the description. There are 5 bullet points here. This is quite a lenient question. As long as you write any 3, you can get the full 3 marks. So you don't have to write all 5. As long as you mention the 3 important key points, you will be able to get full marks. So here's an example of the answer that you can write. So first of all, I'm going to mention hydroelectric power because that's the name of the method. In hydroelectric power, the falling water is able to generate electrical power. Next, I'm going to talk about the transfer of energy stored. So the falling water will convert from gravitational potential energy to kinetic energy. Next, let's talk about how the water is able to turn the turbine. At the bottom of the dam, the moving water will turn the turbine to generate electricity. So just as an extra, I'm just going to explain further. The kinetic energy of the water will be converted to electrical energy. So based on this, we will get 1 mark for mentioning the method, the transfer of the energy stores, and mentioning that water will turn the turbine, that will give us another mark. And as you can see, we've already gotten the full 3 marks in this case. Let's move on to B. For the method you chose in A, state 1 advantage and 1 disadvantage of generating electricity this way. So if you look at the mark scheme, it actually doesn't tell us any advantage or disadvantage because this is a question that depends on what you have written in A. So this is a rather open-ended question. Again, I would say that this is a rather lenient question because there is no fixed answer for this. The answer depends on what you have written in A. So as long as you have written the correct advantage and disadvantage that matches the method you selected in A, you will get your full 2 marks. So an example of this is that it's a renewable energy source, which means that it's not likely to run out because there's always going to be water. So we can write here, this is a renewable energy resource that will not run out. Another advantage besides this also is that hydroelectric power is actually very efficient. That means that there's actually a lot of energy converted to electrical energy. There's very little wasted energy, which is a good thing because that means a lot of the energy generated from the water will be converted to electrical energy. Unlike the other energy resources where a lot of the energy could be wasted as heat instead. A disadvantage, however, of hydroelectric power is that it has a negative impact on the environment because we need to clear a lot of the forest in order to be able to build the dam. It also changes the way the water flows, so that kind of changes a lot of the environment in terms of where animals would go to drink and even aquatic life. Now, let's move on to C. State two methods of generating electrical power for which the main source of energy is not the sun. So this is a 2-mark question. It is also a recall question. And by now you should have learned there are actually 3 energy resources which does not derive their energy from the sun. As long as you write any of the 2 out of the 3, you'll be able to get your 2 marks. So the 3 possible answers for this question are tidal energy, nuclear energy, as well as geothermal energy. A quick and easy way to remember this is T and G. And as you can see in the mark scheme, those are the 3 possible answers for this question. So that's it for question 5. If you'd like to find out how to solve the other questions in this question paper, please refer to the playlist in the video description. Happy studying!